My guest today on The Wild Kitchen is Elias Cairo, who, among many other things, is the head salumist and founder of Olympia Provisions, the most respected and awarded charcuterie house in America. Thank you very much for joining me here, Elias.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's going to be great.
We were chit-chatting a little bit before I hit record. I'm hesitant to not hit record as soon as I possibly can because it seems like often the best stuff happens before and after record goes on. But
Sure.
we briefly chatted about your products and getting them in Canada, and I just before getting to the studio, I was down in the States picking up a box of your amazing products. Honestly, like, no joke, it blew me away. Like I've been reading about your stuff forever, but to taste it, it was insane. Like, no joke, blew me away. It was so good.
Thank you. That's huge. I really,
Yeah.
that will never get old for me to hear. And this is the first time you've tried my product and what I do? Wow.
Yeah,
Great.
I've read a lot about you. Followed your work for a long time. Being a fellow chef, like, I've got a metric poop ton of respect for the work that you do, and the fact that you're also a hunter is pretty distinctive as well. But, like, man, your stuff is so good. It's not like, I find a lot of times stuff in North America, you're like, it's good for Canada or it's good for North America, but, like, your stuff is, and you take that away. It's better than stuff I had in Europe easily by a long shot.
That means a lot to me. Thank you. I love what I do. I'm surrounded by an unbelievable amount of talented people, and our goal was to make it as best as we possibly could, and that's kind of been our goal, and that's what excites us, and that's what gets us up in the morning. And I think everybody that works here, that's why we do it, is to try to make the best product, not the fastest, not the cheapest, not the easiest, but just the best. And with that comes a lot of hard work, but it's super rewarding. Just hearing that from you, and when people tell me things like this that have tried and have a respect for meat like you do and love to cook, and other chefs, it's just so humbling when somebody can really recognize all the hard work that you and your team puts together and puts it out there. So yeah, it means the world to me. So thank you.
Yeah, no, well, thank you, because, like, it's a rare thing to have something that's it's nice to eat something that, you talk about ethically raised animals and using the best products and all those things, but, like, at the end of the day, if it doesn't taste good, like, who cares, right?
It's so true.
Yeah, your stuff is amazing. So you're talking about the culture of the people who work around you. How much do you think that plays into the end result?
Oh, I think it's huge. We always try to remind each other here that our entire job is to give people that moment of pause of enjoyment every single day. And that's what the end of it is. Like, they're spending a little premium, life's busy, there's families, there's all sorts of things. But to imagine as you're making all of this meat, that somebody someplace in America or Canada is going to take a moment to have a bite of, be it a breakfast sausage to a salami, and they're going to be like, holy crap, like, this is just amazing. And that's your opportunity every single day that you get to do by truckloads. We make a lot of meat here. And to build that culture into our plant that we're here, because it is a meat plant. We work under USDA regulation, and it's cold, it's hot, it's heavy, it's all of the hard work that it is. And when we have time, we eat lunch together. We cook for the entire staff here every single day. We get breakfast, lunch. On the weekend, you're able to take meat home to your family so you can enjoy it. You get beers after work, or a soda if you don't drink. And it's just like reminding people that what we're doing here is food, and not lose connection from that is really big. And us having restaurants too keeps us really reminded that we are producing experiences. We are allowing people to enjoy a piece of meat. It's just not a widget, if you will, or it's not just a thing. And it's very, when I say it's very handcrafted, the meat industry, I think, in America is really speed and automation focused, and there's so many ways to speed it up or to cheapen it to get this product out there, and we just don't abide by that. We want it to be real. We're using real smoke, we ferment, we do not co-pack, we hand butcher everything. Every product we do. We grind our spices every single morning, and fresh garlic, fresh onions. People hear that it's a meat plant, and it is an SQF audited, certified, humane, regenerative, all of the things that you need. But when you walk in here, it's just a gigantic kitchen. Like if you're a chef and you've been into a big, busy kitchen, you walk in here and you're like, well, there's a lot more rules, there's a lot
Mm.
more regulations. There's a lot of cooking going on here, and a lot of prep is happening at the same time. But yeah, I feel very lucky to be here.
It's funny. The thing that struck me when I opened this box, and there's like, I got a couple of assorted packs. I got the Italian mix pack, and then like the award pack, and then you guys threw in the Christmas one, and
Oh, very cool.
that was a surprise. That was really, really good. But you open it up on the paper, and it just this beautiful white mold covered, kind of slightly squishy to the touch sausage rolls out. No plastic. It's just like it blew me away that could be a mail order product and show up so perfectly. It was you could tell there's a lot of heart, a lot of human touch in that. So it was very cool.
And the fact that you even recognize that it's mold is a unique thing out there in the world, that it's a natural raw fermented thing that we cover in live active molds and ship over state lines. That's not lost on me either.
No, I know. It's funny, when I was at the border, I was like, because I like to travel, and how I like to travel includes, first and foremost, is experiencing that culture through their food. So, like, if I'm in Mexico, I'm going to the markets and like stick my face in the chili peppers and like trying to bring stuff home, provided it's legal. But one of the things that gets me is like shipping meat across borders is really challenging. So when I came across with yours, I'm like, oh God, please don't be problematic. But yeah, no problem whatsoever. It's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We do ship across the border anyways. It is legal. We just don't ship retail because of the amount of labeling that it takes in the French and English and all that stuff. Eventually I will. It's picking my battles. We got plenty of work to do.
Oh yeah, I bet. And you were also talking about USDA certification, and you see over and over again, you guys are like the first ones in Oregon to get it done. Talk to me about the significance of that, and why that was important to you.
Yeah, so USDA is what inspects the meat industry here in America, and they're here every single day. We should be very thankful that we have them here, because they do an amazing job. They ensure that a lot of meat is safe and wholesome, and nobody's going to get sick, and they're making sure that it's done legally. And to be honest with you, they've been an asset for me. I truly believe it. It's a lot of work, but it's a peace of mind that you're doing it safe. You're not doing anything that's going to put anybody at risk. It does allow me to ship over state lines, so that's the number one. I'm able to sell into retail stores or do whatever it is. Without that, you would be FDA, or different states have different rules where you're able to sell within state lines. My whole goal was to kind of take real charcuterie that I learned making in Europe and be able to just distribute it nationwide if somebody was so interested. I obviously started as a one-man employee. I had no clue that it would sell nationwide and export and all of those things. But at the time, I reached out to the USDA, Dr. Barrows. She's an amazing woman, and it was 2008. And I was like, hey, I want to ferment meat naturally, meaning I want to hold it in the danger zone, ferment it naturally, cover it in a live active mold, have a high fat content, never cook it, and I don't want to put it in plastic, and I want to ship it. And her response back to me was like, yeah, no. Elaborate.
I think that's sort of the perception with a lot of producers of, like, I think maybe European style of food, where it's, raw milk and the cheeses that come from that and all those things. And there's this perception that like government involvement in any food produced like that is a bad thing. And, the government is only going to come in and make you sterilize everything to the point where it tastes like, Kraft cheese slices and Oscar Mayer bologna. And like, so there's no point in doing it. But that hasn't happened to you. Like it doesn't seem to have made any sort of detrimental
Yeah.
effect on what you're doing.
Correct. And the USDA, and I think a lot what you're seeing with raw milk and everything, they're not against it as long as you can prove it with science and you know what you're doing. And
Yeah.
with all of these ancient techniques, it all is based on some food safety science.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people have done is why we're so familiar with why we're cooking salami as opposed to naturally fermenting them or encapsulated acids to drop pH and all the tricks that we have to get quote unquote salami out there is because it's easier and much safer. You don't
Mhm.
really need to know what you're doing in a lactic fermentation or have to have the cleanest and sterilest environments. You're getting a lot more kernels if you're cooking meat as opposed to keeping it raw. But if you can really
Yeah.
explain and you're a true craftsperson and are willing to do the work,
Mhm.
it's obviously safe because we've been eating it for thousands of years, but not a lot of people really understand it. It takes a lot of reading and learning and studying and practicing and then verifying with the certified body, be it a college or a scientist that can say, hey, here's my science, test it through all the processes. Now let me prove it to the USDA that it is wholesome. And then they'll look at it and say, yeah, go ahead. Who's going to eat
Yeah.
this crazy stuff? And then you're kind of asking yourself, yeah, who is going to? And then apparently people love it.
So what was it as simple as that? Just like showing them the science and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. You have a HACCP plan where you set up your hazard analysis critical control points. You tell them how you're addressing all the major pathogens that are in meat, from E. coli to Salmonella to Listeria, and what part of your steps are killing and addressing them. And if you can talk to that and prove that you can repeat it, you have about 6 months to do your documentation. You can do all your tests, so on and so forth, and then they approve it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
easy in
amazing.
retrospect. I remember when I first read it, it was the most horrifying thing, and super happy my wonderful sister's so smart to help me out with that at the time, and now we're here.
Well, that's like anything, right? Like you build a business and you look back, you're like, I could do that again. No, like that's easy. I know how to do that. But at the time, you're like, oh God, what's
Right.
a business bank account? What is that? Like
Well,
it's all new.
it still happens to me, it's
Yeah.
always like, yeah, an export to Japan, or
Yeah.
we just got certified regenerative, or we're actually in the process of it right now, and certified organic,
Awesome.
which is amazing for what we want to do as a bigger company picture. But even you're going through these steps and you're talking about separation programs and all of these things, they just seem so daunting. And at some point, you just got to keep digging, Yeah. Ironically, I do associate it a lot to hunting in that same way, my job in a strange way. Like when you're going on a big hunt, you wake up prepared every single day. You have all of your ducks in a row. You have your stuff. And if you kind of look at your bigger problems like that, it's very, very, in my mind, similar. I've been having these talks with my hunting buddies so much because they're like, well, you work a lot. And I was like, yeah, but I really do love it. I
Yeah.
see so many synergies into that. The more I'm prepared, the more I'm ready, the harder, better game plan I have for it, the more successful I have been. There's
Yeah.
a lot of synergies, and it's all both of them are quite type two funds. Not all the time is
Yeah.
it awesome.
I was just type 2 fun term was rolling around in the back of my head there. It's like you're going through buckbrush and sweaty and tired and hungry and miserable, and
Yeah,
you see a grizzly bear, you're like, "Oh my god, why do I
feel
do
it.
this?" I could just buy meat,
Yeah,
right? But
totally.
yeah, but no, you don't. That's like, who wants to live a boring life where you just, like, don't put yourself through stuff like that, right?
So people don't know how rewarding it is to achieve difficult things like that, from creating a business, a unique product, or I don't know, shooting a deer. Doing all of that stuff is so rewarding.
Totally. Yeah. No, if it was easy, everyone would do it, so it's kinda nice, keeps it a little bit quieter out there on the mountains and
Sometimes, yeah,
yeah, so sometimes.
for sure.
Uh, yeah, so for people that don't know you and your products and the reason why your product's very different from 90, what is it, like 98.3% or 99% of the stuff out there,
Yeah.
um, can you kinda dive in a little bit on how most animals are raised,
Mm.
and why you didn't wanna just go to, like, I mean, I don't have to say the producers, but you can if you want, but, like, why you didn't just go there and just buy cases of
Yeah,
sides pig?
yeah, let's see, how would I even start that conversation? For what
How much do we wanna horrify the public?
Yeah, exactly. For one, I was fortunate enough to learn how to do this in Europe. I spent 5 years in the Swiss Alps with people that had so much integrity and respect and had an amazing conversation of what it meant to make a true great product. And that always traced back to how you treated animals, how that interacted with your environment and your community. And of course, they have 1,000 years of raising these animals in these environments and the impacts, good and bad, of it. And that just always stuck with me. It stuck with me when I came back, when I met some of my idols or people and families that have been raising animals and curing meat this entire time, on how they just respected those animals. And then I came back to America and started working here with my dream of creating the best meat, not only in America, but hopefully in the world, where I could be respected in every conversation with that. And it just wasn't very possible. So the vast majority of meat raised in America is horribly tortured, especially in pork. Pork, definitely. It's raised in confinement. These animals cannot turn around. They clip their ears, they clip their teeth, they use septic ponds, they use antibiotics in the sows. I can't even believe. And this creates a very bland tasting meat, as well as has a horrible environmental impact, and is never going to make a spectacular product. Uh, I believe that sometimes the vegans are very correct on this stance. If this is the way we're gonna raise meat, it's not the right way to do it. And there's a better way that we can use animals if we respect them and put them on pasture and use them to improve land and support smaller farms and pay the proper price for that. So the animals that we are growing and looking into, they're raised on pasture, they're GAP4 audited. They have, every one of the smaller farms that I work with have some sort of regenerative mission in their raising of their animals, be it removing chip grass from sagebrush, blackberries from the Willamette Valley, or in acorns that are holding different types of mites, or even removing hard soil that they couldn't till anymore. So using animals on their ranch to improve the soil, also getting these animals a way better depth of flavor and all of the things that come along with that. And in
Yeah.
that, explaining to America that throughout the year, it shouldn't taste the exact same. To understand that an animal that is eating dried hay, to blackberries, to grass, to sage, like, the animal creates a much different flavor. And that's part of why I think it's just unique. Did that
Do
even
you find
answer your question?
no, it does, because I think people are, I mean, like, how much stress do you wanna have when you go to the grocery store, right? So people are like, "Okay, well, stay to the outside of the grocery store, and it's a fresh food, and stay away from the processed stuff," but
Yeah.
then they think they're buying things in the grocery store, and then it gets into the whole greenwashing side of things, but,
Yes.
without even hitting that, I definitely wanna cover that, but, like, without even hitting that, they're buying food and they have no like, people are so detached from killing animals and that whole process, and you look at hunting, which is something which is not disgusting, it is not horrifying or any of those things,
Mhm.
but when we get that many animals all together and raise them in a commercial environment, it is horrifying, and it's so hard to get out of that,
Mhm.
and for people to buy something that's not
Mhm.
revolting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess for me, Um, I'm curious how you went from this is most of the meat that's produced in America
Mhm.
to where do you get your meat from then? How do you work around that?
Yeah. So the vast majority of my meat is GAP, or all of my meat is GAP certified that comes into my
Yeah.
food, which is Global Animal Approved, which is a third party auditing party that goes to every one of the farms and checks and makes sure that the animals are not clipped or harmed or done. And at the same time, my farmers network, or GAP4, this is a smaller network of farmers that are here in Oregon or the Pacific Northwest that allow animals to be on pasture and roam around. So I started way back in 2009 with my first, buying whole animals from farms, and failed 9 times with 9 separate farms trying to get this to actually work. And, from farmers quitting to getting the wool pulled over my eyes to just creating a
Wow.
product that was not great, into scaling, as my wonderful sister said, was like, if you really, really want to make an impact, you have to be able to have volume, and then people will listen to you because of
Mm,
X, Y, and Z, and build your systems.
yeah.
And we've did this, and as we've grown, we've made amazing partners like Whole Foods and, oh gosh, larger New Seasons and grocers and bigger distribution out there, like Murray's and all these great people that believe in the mission and understand that it's going to take somebody. And as you grow with them, you tell your story, and people start believing in you, and then you get one
Yeah.
farmer where you're buying the whole herd from, and you're fully utilizing all of those, and then their neighbor hears about it, and the network starts growing, and now we're here talking to you about something that was just a dream. And still, it still hasn't, I'm still probably about a decade away to where I'm 100% all pasture raised pork, because I
Mm,
want to scale it very responsibly, and making sure that as I grow, I'm not wasting product, and I'm not putting any farmer in a compromising situation, and making sure it's a real sound foundation of what we're doing.
yeah. So you say you're using the whole animal. You like grilling off a bunch of, what is that, kokoretsi? I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. That the Greek dish with like the offal wrapped around with the intestines wrapped around
It's
it.
just that we don't do that yet, but I really
No.
would give absolutely everything to stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I absolutely love that. My family makes it in our pizza oven, or we stuff the kidneys, the hearts, and everything in the
Yeah.
intestine and bake it with beans and everything. It's an amazing dish. Mine has to be a little bit more marketable. So,
It's not for everybody.
yeah, it's not for everybody, and strangely, nobody knows about it. So the what I do is I take the whole animal, and then I have to look at everything. And this was probably, gosh, now a decade ago, where my first true problem was, hey, if you're a true charcuterie maker, your goal is to utilize and add value to every piece of these animals. And my sister's business and finance based, and she just looked at me like off the cuff, and she was like, "There's a lot of skin, bone, offal, and what is all this other stuff? Like, I don't even." She could now probably take apart a pig, but it's not what she does. I'm not great at Excel, and she doesn't like to push brooms. Like, that's not what we're
Good
here
partners.
for. Yeah, exactly. And she looked at me, and she's just like, figure out how to use all of this rest of the stuff, or it's going to fail, or we're going to have to
Mm,
push back on our farmers to lower their prices. And that's like, when you push back on a farmer or a partner, the quickest way is yeah, you put them in confinement, you dumb
yeah.
down, you give them pesticides, herbicides, antibiotics, all the things that makes it bulletproof. So the long story short is, I take the bone, skin, offal, feet, anything I can't sell through all the other products that I make, and I make a pet treat. So I make these little dog treats. I grind it
Awesome.
4 or 5 times on a 50 horsepower, 50 amp grinder, and I stuff them into little casings, and I sell them to dog treats, and I distribute them across America. And
Oh, that's
that's
perfect.
that's literally the balance. And I think that that's in when I came out with this pet treat product, a lot of people were telling me not to put my brand on it, make a separate brand,
Yeah,
because it's going to diminish what I'm doing to offer to humans. And to me, I think that I was losing an opportunity to tell the bigger problem in America,
100%.
where you're like, hey, with animals, you have bones, you have
Yeah.
offal, you have kidneys, you have all sorts of stuff that you just can't make. You got to make something to fully utilize all these products. So the pet treat industry, I always say this was the most difficult sausage I've ever made in my life. I had no clue what I was doing. There's no rule book on how to make this, and the shelf life for a pet treat needs to be a year and a half.
Really?
The pet industry is just a wild world to get into, but
Which is crazy because my dog eats cat poo. So, like, I just don't.
yeah,
Like, it doesn't make sense to
yeah,
me. But I'm sure the quality of the meat going into your pet treats are infinitely better than the floor shavings that most of
exactly.
the other ones
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, the pet treat is very, it's SQF audited and human grade and a USDA plan. It's the same meat we
Yeah.
eat. I can't tell you how many of the pet treats we've eaten. Like,
Oh,
just,
I bet. Yeah.
I mean, it's all of the things you want to eat, bone and stuff, and it just
Yeah.
ground thing. It just needs a lot more salt to be enjoyable.
Oh my gosh. So the sausages themselves, I was looking at the ingredients on it,
Mhm.
and it brings to mind the eternal question of nitrates and nitrites and um there's a local sausage shop near me that says we don't use nitrates.
Mhm.
And I went in there, I was like, how do you do it? Because your meat's all pink and
Mhm.
like this isn't just salt that you're using here. and they're like, "Oh, we use nitrites," or it was vice versa. Like they say they don't use nitrites, but they said they like we use nitrates. I was like,
Okay.
does that seems like deceptive advertising to me?
Yeah, that is.
Like I'm by no means an expert, but I remember reading somewhere that you use like nitrates and it converts over time while it's being fermented and turns into nitrite or something to that degree.
Yes.
So can you sort of run through that like quickly just for people that are buying like nitrate free or naturally cured meats?
Yes, for sure. Quickly may not be the ultimate answer, but
No,
you know,
no, no, as long as you want. I got lots of time. I'm yeah.
let's go through this. So,
I'd love to crack this nut.
yeah, it's a very complicated issue. So
Yeah.
nitrates and nitrates are found in so many natural products. Your body
Mm,
creates it. There's a ton of it in celery root. There's a ton of it in beets, chard. Um, Leafy greens have a lot of nitrates and
yeah.
nitrites.
Mhm.
Nitrate turns to nitrite once it loses an oxygen molecule. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing. The reason we use it in sausage making mostly is for color and flavor.
Mhm.
But the most important part of it is that it addresses a very, very lethal pathogen called botulism. It is impossible to kill botulism in fermentation with 100%, no doubt about it, without the use of nitrates. So when you can't cook it, as we know, you can, but it's to an ungodly temperature to kill botulism. It's a very lethal and dangerous pathogen. But a little touch of nitrate will do that. As a matter of fact, in German, it's called the Wurstkrankheit pathogen, right? So it's sausage disease. Like that's
Right.
how it happens. Um,
Uh,
and it got demonized in America during the bacon era, where we used to just
mm,
try to speed bacon through the process by dumping tons and tons of raw nitrate onto the product. And when it burns on it, it turns carcinogenic if you have an unbelievable amount in it. And so then it boomed, and everybody said nitrates are bad for you. So
yeah.
when this is a great analogy. I called when all of my sausage making problems, I always call my German and its Swiss sausage making friends. And I call them and I was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing about this nitrate problem?" And they're like, "Excuse me, the nitrate problem?" And I was like, "Yeah, like it's bad for health and all these things." And they're like, "We give nitrate pills to our children when they have stomach problems to increase the amount of nitrates that we consume. What are you talking about?" And
Oh my
so,
gosh.
yeah. So it's a very your body's creating it. It's in oxygen. Nitrate done naturally
Mm,
helps you digest and is a natural process to eat. We use it to preserve color. The way you use nitrate free, um, or to say nitrate free products, is that you do
mm,
it from a natural source, i.e.,
yeah.
beet powder, celery powder, chard powders, any of these things that have a high
Yeah.
natural nitrate content, as opposed to using a lab grown or produced nitrate. And then historically, which I think is actually a very just amazing thing to think about, is the greatest areas that have cured meat always had a salt source that had high nitrate levels in it,
Mm,
i.e., Parma. The mined salt from Parma was in an area that salt naturally has a high nitrate. Sicily, amazing Trapanese salt, is done sea salt. The vast majority of it is sea salt. What they found is on big years where there's lots of fog and they have X amount of lightning storms, nitrate happens in the clouds and changes a higher nitrate concentrate in sodium, and then you have more nitrate in your natural salt. So
that's super cool.
isn't that cool? And so they would notice when they would go to market, salt from this source had
Yeah.
enough nitrate in it to turn my meat pink and thus is safer, and so on and so forth.
That's really funny. I've
Yes.
never heard that before. That's super cool.
I think it's fascinating, but that's
Yeah.
just it's my life and I live in it.
So so chemically speaking,
Mhm.
is there any difference between nitrates that come from like beets and nitrates that come from a lab?
No, on paper, no,
Yeah.
but it is
Okay.
on paper or in science, it's the same
Sure.
molecule that we create.
Okay.
It's actually, on in theory, lab grown or more consistent. You're
Mhm.
like everything, they're way more precise, but if you're doing the parts per million math on it, you can do that relatively easy. So it's just
Yeah.
unadulterated from celery as opposed to created in a lab if you use pink salt, so on and so forth. So if somebody's at home and they're making salami out of their deer, elk, caribou, and they're hesitant to use a nitrate,
Yeah.
I'm just disagree with it strongly and say,
Yeah.
please be safe. Don't go killing your whole family because you're not brewing beer here. You're fermenting meat and doing all this stuff. Yeah.
I think people get this idea that like, well, the Europeans just threw salt on it, so that's all you got to do. And there, like you said before, there's a certain science to it, and if you don't understand the science behind it, then just don't take those chances. And
Correct. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Fermenting meat and curing salami. There's so many other amazing things you can produce in charcuterie that are so
yeah,
much safer. Your first off, a bratwurst or a pate or a summer sausage or a pepperoni stick and all of those things where you're fermenting and cooking. And there's so
yeah.
much things, and those are fascinating and very difficult to make and make people
Hmm.
super happy. The fermented and dry cured and all of those things, like grow up, like move to that. I can't tell you how many people
Yeah.
have said, hey man, I want to learn how to make salami, or I want to learn how to dry cure prosciutto. Can you help me with that? And I was like, let's make a pate. Let's make some meat.
Yeah.
Let's make some meatloaf. Let's roll.
It's funny you say that, and I've done all those things. I've done like the air cured
Hmm.
German style Westphalia
Oh,
ham.
cool.
My husband and I made our own curing cabinet with like
Very cool.
humidity set or sensors and temperature settings and all the rest. But
Awesome.
yeah, but we use curing salt, so we're not messing around.
And
But
I don't think it was the first thing you made. I bet you made a,
no, no, it wasn't. No, it certainly wasn't.
yeah,
No, we've done a few other things. We're pretty comfortable with sausage making and
awesome.
and curing and all that kind of stuff.
I love it.
Speaking of complicated, not that it's complicated, but like I also I
Oh, wow.
picked up your book.
Awesome.
Again, freaking awesome. And Meredith Erickson, that's super cool. She's like been part of some of my favorite cookbooks too.
Especially as a
Uh,
Canadian.
yeah, she is, and she did a book, the Alpine one,
Hmm.
that like yeah, it's just gorgeous, and the Joe
Yeah.
Beef cookbooks too, and yeah,
Joe
yeah,
B, she's such an amazing human being, and I had zero want, need, or capacity to write a cookbook. Period. Then it was in my wheelhouse, and then one of my friends said, "Hey, this amazing woman named Meredith Erickson," and I was like, "Of Joe Beef fame?" And she
hmm,
wants to talk to you about a cookbook, and we sat down, and she's like, "I heard you went to school in Switzerland," and she has
yeah,
a great love for the Alps, and I was telling her where and how, and she's like, "Wow, I think we should write a cookbook." And I was like, "I don't have time," and then I was like, you're an
you gotta
idiot.
do
Go
it. Yeah,
ahead.
the middle section where you guys go to Switzerland, that reads a lot like her Alpine cooking cookbook.
Mhm. Yeah.
It is quite similar to that. I love it. One thing that really struck me though, beginning of the book,
Mhm.
I bookmarked it. It's pretty close, page 33,
Mhm.
only page 33. You're instructing people how to make copa di testa.
Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It makes me
Get
happy you like that.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it. I love it when people don't treat their readers or their audience like they're stupid. Like
Yeah.
people are so hungry for this kind of thing. I love the fact, and anyone that doesn't know, you're deboning a pig head and like making it the most delicious thing ever.
Yeah.
So I love it.
It's probably, that the whole cookbook, it's similar. I started that charcuterie chapter being like, start with not even having a grinder and make charcuterie for your family, from rillettes and rolling whole heads into it and cooking. And
Yeah,
it's blown my mind that how many people have made that copa di testa, where I get
that's awesome.
pictures of every walk of life showing me them deboning a head. And I was like, yeah, I think I've won. Like, that's way better than I could ever imagined us being here right now.
Yep, 100%. People like it just makes me so happy. Like I recognize the fact that I'm probably a very different wife than a lot of my friends. And my husband, for years, our neighbor prior to the golf ball washing guy was a butcher packer supply.
Oh,
And
cool.
so yeah, thank you. It was super cool.
Yeah,
So for years, any birthday, Christmas present, it's like, oh, there's a brand new grinder under the tree, or you're getting a meat slicer. Or
great.
my friends are like, what is wrong with you? Like,
Nothing.
So Christmas sucked for you. I was like, no, it doesn't. Like, it's amazing. I've got a whole setup of butcher supply stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
It's so, and especially with, I'm assuming wild meats that you're processing
Yeah.
with, it is one of the most rewarding tasks that you could ever do. It is create a
Yeah.
pate or a simple confit or a sausage out of something you've harvested and give it to somebody that doesn't get to eat it or doesn't frequently know how to go out and get these things and watch their mind be like, why does it taste so good? I don't like deer. I don't like
Oh, totally.
turkey. And you're like, yes, it's very good. Now you
Yeah. I mean, like, who doesn't like sausages? I mean, like, you can,
sad people.
I, yeah, I really and truly, like, it really, I feel bad for people that don't appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
A friend of, side note, a friend of mine has never eaten a hot dog. And that fact just blows my mind. So a couple of years ago for her birthday present, I presented her with a wooden box with these beautiful polished pebbles and a hot dog right in the middle of it. So she opened up this box and there's a hot dog there so she could appreciate it.
Did she eat it?
But no, she didn't.
She doesn't eat meat or
No,
just
no, no, she does. She does. She just
give her
never ate a
one?
hot dog before.
Can I ship her one of my frankfurters and not call it a hot dog? And it's just see if that slides by.
100%. Yeah, I'm sure she'd appreciate it.
Great.
And Carrie, just so you know, we're talking about you right now.
Yeah, Carrie. Try the frankfurter. It's not a hot dog.
We chatted about transparency in meat producers
Hmm.
and pigs being like notoriously bad for being raised
Hmm.
horribly.
Hmm.
You do see like beef and chicken and some of the other animals that like grass-fed beef and, pasture-raised chickens, they seem to have been given more attention and better raised lately. What is it about pigs you think that they seem to be sort of falling by the wayside?
Yeah, I'm so happy you recognize that because that's just giving me hope that other people
Yeah.
are going to recognize this in the world. And it's just a huge debate in my life, and it was that way with chicken, and so I hope it'll
Mhm.
eventually get there. Like you will still hear people brag about $1.50 pork chop, and
Yep.
you're just like, but you would never do that anymore with chicken breasts. Like you
No.
understand if you care about sourcing, you're going to care. And I do think that pork is the last one. People
Yeah.
expect pork to be very, very cheap for whatever reason. And I mean, I do understand that it breeds quickly and it does come to market. That's the reason that they've done it. And they've done a masterful job of greenwashing it and making you feel good about your sourcing for pork. And we'll eventually get past that. I don't have the right answer for that,
Mm.
and I think that's probably the reason why I'm so frustrated and so vocal about it because, I understand people in every price point in the world needing to eat protein. And I understand pork
Mhm.
should be for some people doing there, but it really frustrates me when people have the means and a little bit more wealth and are trying to buy good that they're still getting ripped off and they're buying the same pork or the same sourced pork as the cheapest stuff, but paying 75% more just because the label's different. And that is the pork industry in a nutshell. And more and more label transparency, more and more people like you having them on a podcast and talking about it and bringing it up that eventually it will be.
Yeah.
It goes in both ways. Label transparency and actual having true label verification, hopefully at some point in the next decade, will be light years ahead. It's going in the wrong direction right now with not having to choose your true sourcing and being able to say it can come from out of America, no longer having to say American made beef, pork, so on and so forth. So it's going one step in the back. But if you really do care, go to the farmer's market. Try to meet a farmer if you're fortunate enough. Go to a respectable butcher. Look for GAP certification. Start asking more honest questions about where your pork is coming from. And if somebody just is using catchphrases like heritage or well, antibiotic free, dig a little deeper because most likely it's a tortured animal that you could be buying a way cheaper product from.
Yeah, you do see that heritage with pork all the time. They're like the damn Berkshire pork,
Yeah,
heritage breed.
yeah.
You're like, come on, what is that? What does that really mean? And I think further to that problem is like a lot of butchers just don't know.
Exactly. Oh,
I
or chefs.
Yeah.
Or, I'm baffled when I go into some place and I'll be like, who are you sourcing? And they'll be like, oh, I have this amazing Berkshire Duroc heritage breed. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, great. Let's just look at the sourcing of that. Like,
Yeah.
I always say a heritage animal without sourcing, you're just agreeing to a puppy in a puppy mill. These
Yeah.
animals have
Totally.
amazing genetics and should be, of all of them, should be out on a field rummaging and doing their exercise. It's like putting a bird dog in a puppy mill, right? Those dogs are supposed to run thousands of miles or retrieve and all these things, and you're putting them in confinement. So it's more heartbreaking. But people just don't look past that. And I get it. It's they don't want to. And I will 100% and prove it 1,000 times over. A Duroc does not taste any different than an American pink pig in confinement. They are
Yeah.
fed the same diet. It's all corn, and they don't exercise. And so, unless you're feeding them acorns or something in confinement, it just tastes like pink pork. So you're just paying the premium for a name.
I think people just don't know to ask, or I think they've been told you should get heritage pork. And
Hmm.
so looking beyond that doesn't even occur to them that like they feel like they're doing a good job. And you can't blame the consumer for that
Yeah,
because why would they know any better when they're just being fed this line that like
yeah.
all pork's the same except for these heritage breeds and that's what you buy and you should pay 3 times as much and it's better.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
no one cares, right?
Yeah, and even on the farmers, I still have sympathy for them. They were sold a bill of goods in the Midwest, where they were like their great grandfather bid into this confinement operation for ease and profit. And so now they got to make it marketable. And I think the cattle and the sheep guys had a different angle. They've always been more or less on pasture than finished in feedlots. So their path to more responsible sourcing was just skip the feedlot.
Yeah.
Skip those things. But these poor pig farmers, I mean, they have a lot of debt. They have infrastructure and how they manage, and now generational knowledge on how to raise pigs in confinement. So they're doing everything to protect that in the and the chicken guys, they did it, right? Americans or whoever, the consumer masses really wanted better transparency into eggs and chicken. And so they demanded that and they started getting it. It's still not there completely. There's not a lot
Yeah.
of pasture raised true chickens out there or actually seeing the light of day. But it's getting there. And so, I have sympathy for everybody. I don't think it needs. I just wish it could just be honest and people could, spend their dollars in where they think their money's going. And that's the first step is, if you are lucky enough to live in an area that has a small pig farmer doing it right, make him your pal. He has an uphill battle by his pigs.
Yeah, the old pig farmer. I don't know if you're familiar with current events in our area, but it doesn't come with a good connotation. That there's some backstory. I won't even get into it, but
Really.
yeah, it was pretty gruesome. But nobody wants a pig farmer in their backyard around here. But in reality, yeah, like it's you kind of have to talk to you got to go direct to source because
Mhm.
the government doesn't seem to be mandating the rules in a way where or companies can get around it,
Yeah.
right? They just keep circumventing. They
Yeah.
make up new terms and things, new marketing terms, and
Mhm.
people don't know any better.
For sure. And, just a moment to plug GAP, Global Animal
Yeah.
Partnership, that auditing body. I think that they're a true, genuine. I know they're doing a great job because they've held my farmers accountable.
Yeah.
It's a rating system. So it's one of the few auditing bodies I see out there that are completely honest.
Hmm.
It's the Certified Humane, and there's a few of the other Pork Plus projects out there where it's just not honest and not transparent.
Really? Okay.
You'll
So
see.
Gap.
Yeah, GAP is the one. Certified Humane, for
Yeah.
example, what a lot of the larger farmers out there will do is you have to have one farm that is certified humane. In,
Hmm.
let's take a larger co-op in the Midwest where they have probably 20 or to 30 farms in there. One of those 30 may be certified humane. The other 30, so the vast majority of their pork is still confinement hogs that circumvent it.
Okay.
So another loophole.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah. It's
I had no clue we were going to be talking this much about pork and pork farming, but I'm loving it. I hope you're getting.
no. We can totally switch. I was just
No,
looking at
this
my
is great.
notes.
I
I was
love
like,
it. No, this is my life.
yeah.
This is the way I'm super happy.
My goal for me, first and foremost, like I am totally fueled by my own interest in the subject, and like I am interested. For me, I find it amazing that you built a product, but then also had to go backwards and like set up the systems to bring you the ingredients so you can make your product. I find that totally fascinating. When everything is built in a way to go against that, right? Like I can't even imagine the frustration and, I guess determination on your side as well, just to be like, God damn it, I'm just gonna do it. I gotta do it.
Yeah,
But
sleeping with a clear conscience is huge on my life, not pulling the wool over their eyes, and I'm completely obsessed with making high quality stuff. And
yeah.
I genuinely mean that. So people that surround me, I've always said that too. If I ever start wavering or ever go winky on something, I hope every
Mm.
one of my employees walk out on me, because
Yeah.
that's the way it should be. I think that a lot of people work here because we try to make the best products we possibly can. And that's what fires me up every day to come into work, or I would just be lying and probably have way more time to hunt.
So total side step to a completely different topic,
Hmm.
more sausage related.
Great.
Uh, what do you think about collagen casings?
Collagen casings have their place, for
Yeah.
sure. If you're, that's just a different style and art to it. It's
Yeah.
utilizing a different part of the animal that it is. Like if you're making a big deli piece or a different product, it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me. Even in the world of smoke sticks now, there's a lot of products out there that are made for it. I prefer natural casing strictly because of mouthfeel and
Mm.
texture and the way that it adheres smoke and the flavor. It's just so much more natural.
Yeah.
And that's a fascinating thing too, because I've been diving deeply in the last 2 years into smoke sticks and working with other partners to produce smoke sticks for them. Um, and I can, where I'm in my head, I can taste them. Everybody else can taste the difference, and I'm seeing them, and I'll take them to people that I don't consider a meat expert, and they still notice. Like
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Ooh, I don't know what it is, but I still prefer this natural one, or this one that I am the only one that know that it's a natural casing." And that I don't know. I can't tell exactly what it is. Is it flavor? Is it texture? Is it the way that the smoke interacts with the meat or the fermentation happens? But from a pure enjoyment, collagen hasn't quite got to the layer of you know enjoyment that you can do from a natural. But from a price point, it's
Yeah. I mean, like, who wants to buy sheep casings when you can get collagen? But
yeah.
they're, I just, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was like a me thing. I've tried them a number of times and I
Mhm.
just can't
Yeah.
be successful with them. I'm always unhappy with the end product.
Way more difficult for a home user.
Yeah.
Way like there's so much tricks. I wouldn't say science, and you need
Really.
higher humidity and a way to chart the cooking and cooling things and all those tricks that
Okay.
go along in that. And also, if you're a lot of the collagen is based off of a 30% fat content and to make them tenderize, and there's just so much in that it's made for
Huh.
mass production, I would say, for a lot more faster. The main reason people
Yeah.
utilize them in the meat industry is because of the stuffing. That you can just put it in a machine, plug it in, and then 200 sausages a minute come out
Yeah.
pretty easily.
You don't get that midway through hole in one of the casings and you're like, "Argh," like explodes all over your counter and you gotta like,
Whatever.
oh my
Yeah, you
God.
just crank.
Oh, there's nothing more frustrating than that. You're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
guess I'm frying up freeform sausages right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've met so many amazing, or I've been fortunate enough to eat a bunch of like amazing Midwestern summer sausage guys that are
Yeah.
collagen guys, and you're like, wow, that is absolutely perfect. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how you did it, and don't change a dang thing, but I mean, like that is better than I can do, my friend. So carry on. Yeah, it's fascinating.
I think I'll just stick on the natural route for
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm obviously a huge fan, especially for home. Like if you're cranking out 60-pound batch of bratwurst or salami or something like that, take the time and enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
you're not there's other things you got to hustle through. This one, just enjoy, go slow, I think.
Yeah. I think sausages in general are not like a hustle through process for most people.
Hello, yeah,
You're investing some time and
yeah,
energy and money and Yeah,
all of it.
you gotta love it.
Yeah, exactly. There's easier ways to get breakfast sausage, and that's called buying
Think so. I think so.
it. Yeah.
So, are you like, are there any new products coming down the line? You're always looking at making new stuff, or
Yeah, I'm always luckily able to keep innovating.
yeah,
I think what's really exciting right now is I'm able to work with a few more partners out there that are different species and doing it right, from buffalo that is field harvested, to deer that are field harvested, to utilizing my skill set and what my plant and everything has to support other farmers or other producers out there. But yeah, I think that the next 3 or 4 years, I've done a lot with pork, and now you might not see it necessarily in my brand per se, but I'll be using my skill set to help other products out there. Like currently, are you familiar with who Maui Nui is?
I don't think so.
Maui Nui is the access deer harvesters, wild harvest access deer on the island of Maui.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so they came to me, oh gosh, probably 4 years ago with their
Mm.
problem of like, hey, we have all of the deers and we have a producer here and they're running into all these problems. Would you ever entertain it? And I've been strictly no. I want to focus on my company. Um,
Yeah.
and I was fortunate enough to like hear about what they did and read what they were doing, and they are actually hunting deer every night and using NASA to find deer and all this great stuff. And their mission is so important to
Yeah.
the natural fauna and the animals that are out there, and anything I can do to support something like that has been amazing. And then it allows me guiltily, because I love making deer sausage, to play with
Mm.
thousands of pounds of deer sausage. And so I create these unbelievable sausages. God, that
Yeah.
sounded so arrogant. I think are very delicious sausages. These people that allow them to focus on hunting and
Yeah.
marketing what they have to do, and then hopefully bringing to market a very great product. And yeah, same as like the buffalo people, Wild Ideas Buffalo in the Midwest. We've been working with them to try to create a product to bring them to market, because they're field harvesting buffalo on the buffalo grass gap land that are using to bring, using the buffalo to replace the beef market there, that's allowing natural birds to get back out there. And I mean, that's really rewarding work for me.
I bet. Yeah.
It's just unbelievable meat. I
So, are you able to like get over to Maui and actually hunt some of the axis deer and or
Yeah,
like
I haven't
go
done
do
it.
some bird hunting?
I haven't done it yet,
No.
because I want the product to come into market, and I want it to really establish. Right now, I'm making their summer sausage for Maui, and they're doing all of these things, but I want it
Yeah.
to fully come in. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to take Paulie, my QA/QC tech that's worked with me for head of it, and he's been with me for 16 years, and we love going into other meat plants and cutting
Yeah.
meat and making sausages. And so if there's an opportunity to go out there and hunt access, I can't wait to do that, but also
Yeah.
to harvest it with a bunch of guys that do 45 to 50 deer a night is dreamy for me.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Do you bow hunt?
I do.
Or
Yeah,
yeah,
I do.
I'd take
All
a
the
bow.
Yeah, that's what I hear, in like
Yeah.
50,000 arrows or something like that.
Yeah. So my husband and I went axis deer hunting in
Oh, cool.
Molokai, and we ended up being very selective and still getting 4 deer in
Oh,
one
amazing.
day. And at the end of it, we're like, okay, it was amazing. The
Hmm.
meat is spectacular. It was so much fun. It was such a cool hunt for us. Like being based in BC, we typically do a certain like we're out in swamps hunting moose or like out in the mountains and things like that. So to be able to hunt in Molokai was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
Um, but at the end of it, we're like, next time we're bringing bows. Like there's rifle hunting. You can take them from too far away. We wanted to be closer to them.
Yeah,
So
it's and just the way that I've heard that those deer interact, just super high strung, and it
yeah,
definitely seems like
yeah.
it would be the ultimate challenge. I mean, I will definitely take a bow, but I'm not coming home empty-handed. If day two
No, no, no. No,
laid it down
no.
there, I would be like very happy. And yeah, the opportunity to do it with those guys, I get to hunt them every single night.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
pretty excited to see how that is. And boy, I love that meat. Whatever they are, however they're harvesting them, their technique of hanging them overnight and all the way there, it's a
Yeah.
special product. And it's a real cool thing they're doing.
Yeah, I've never seen someone break down an animal faster than that guy, the guy that we hunted with in Molokai. It was
Really.
just it was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it was super cool experience. But,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, every time I'm with a guide or fortunate enough to hunt with somebody that gets to field dress hundreds of animals a day, I'm always like, man, I've been butchering my whole life and I suck. Like, if it's not at a table waist height, like on a cutting board
Yep.
with a deboner, like, I'm not gonna pretend I can skin nearly as
No.
great or as clean. It's yeah, I was fortunate enough to hunt with an amazing friend in Oregon. She got
Mm,
an extra cow tag and she took me along and we shot a cow and I was
yeah.
like, I suck at this. Like, who are you? What's going on here?
It's forever humbling. Like, I every time I see someone do it, it's something different. And
Yeah,
so I feel like I'm always learning something, someone's doing something different, and I went bear hunting last spring with a friend, and he's like, "Do you take the call fat?" I'm like, "No, I don't. What's wrong with me? I never take the call fat." He's like, "Oh, here," and gives me a big mass of call fat. I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, what's wrong with me? I can't believe I never took it before." And
yeah.
yeah,
Across the
always something
board,
new.
every time you get a hunt with a different person, or even
Yeah,
from gosh, grouse to quail to turkey to deer to elk to bear, anything like just hunting with
yeah,
different people and seeing what they do or how they approach it is just so unbelievably fascinating. Or the lack of it, or hunt with somebody that is just horrified with eating a heart or a liver and being able to show them that you're like, man, you
yeah.
can make some very delicious things out of this.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really fun for sure.
Yeah,
What
I
about you?
think I always say food's a way to get non-hunters to at least find our not like what we do acceptable,
Yeah.
right? Like
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's the gateway into doing it through the stomach.
Oh, easy, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's luckily, yeah, pate coming over to anybody's Christmas party right now, Christmas time is around,
Yeah.
to bring a pate of any animal that I've shot and watch people
Mhm.
be like, "What is this?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's X animal with dried cherries." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa."
Totally. Do you do a lot of like I'm sure you're busy enough working every day at your regular shop, but do you do a lot of wild game stuff in your free time?
Oh, yeah, too much
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, no, it's yeah, no, I'm a nerd about meat making. I I live for it.
Yeah.
Every little bit of it. I think that there's an amazing, when you're in the meat industry or a chef or anything, it's like if you're truly fascinated by it, you can get very complacent with just pork or with beef or
Yeah.
whatever it is, and you just get more interested with XYZ animal. And so every time from a blacktail to a quail to a mountain grouse to anything like that. It like when it's in my fridge, I'm fascinated with how it's going to taste, and I can't stop thinking and wanting to play with it, trim, and like gosh, it never gets old to me. I think the people that are in the food world, chefs that I fortunately work with from every level that don't hunt and don't get out there, once I start talking about the opportunity that I had to eat an old mountain goat and how it
Yeah.
tasted, you see their eyes like, wait, what? You got to do what? I was like, yeah, man. Every year I probably get 3 or 4 animals that I get to eat through, and they're all different. Some are old, some are young, some are in sagebrush, some are in the rainforest. And God, I shot a grouse that was just eating gooseberries only, and the meat tasted like bitter and tannic. And they're just like, wait, what?
Mhm.
The meat, the flavor changes, and you're like, yeah, yeah, fascinating. And for me, it's the same. Like I love fermenting meat and I love smoking meat and I love what that does and how that interacts with flavor. And so if I have a cow elk that I shot, how does that taste fermented? How does that taste
Yeah.
slow cooked? And yeah, and I still learn every quite often when I'm cooking, like whenever I get to cook wild game, it's the ultimate test for me to
Mhm.
see if you're really good at what you're doing and can make great food. Do it with something that's wild out there that's not been bred to be perfectly delicious and decadent. I'm lucky enough to hunt with some people that are great chefs that are unbelievable and watch them handle animals from the Canadian chef. Oh my gosh, how am I? Jeremy Charles. Are you familiar with him?
Yes, he's amazing. From Newfoundland?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and watching him cook cod the first time of my life and being
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I've ever cooked a fish. Like, who are you? Or Jesse Griffiths with turkey hunting and
Yeah.
watching him do anything with pork. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah, he's
God, you're
amazing.
so good at this.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. And I think all those guys that I'm lucky enough to cook and hunt with and any time with them, watching everybody get excited about any animal or wild piece of meat is it just still fires me up. I've been cooking in this meat world since I was 10 years old. And
Yeah.
you need things to fuel your fire, at least I do. And that's what's doing it and it has fun forever.
Yeah, wild game's great for that. You never quite know what you're gonna get. It's
Right.
like the joy of opening up the crop on a grouse and being like, "Oh, what have you been eating?" It like never ceases to amaze me. I'm like, "Oh, it's full of clover." I'm like, it's
Yeah.
always full of clover, but like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I get so excited by it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Or chucker or gosh,
Yeah,
my wife when I blow cooking something and it's
yeah,
chewy or just didn't get flavorful to be like, oh, challenge accepted, love. I will get you to love this.
totally. Oh my God, I'm the same with my husband. He like, he hated Thanksgiving,
Mm,
and I'm like, I like it was the same day I just come home from a shift at work, long shift in the kitchen, came home and he's like, "Yeah, no, it's I hate Thanksgiving." I'm like, "What? Like how am I just learning this now? No, I'm going to make you Thanksgiving dinner right now." And like
yeah.
just made him Thanksgiving dinner and ever since he's like, "I love it."
Yeah.
But I need that challenge of like,
Oh yeah.
"No, you don't like it? You don't like gross?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
well I'm going to show you why gross is awesome."
My wife told me probably 7 years ago that she didn't like gravy. And I was like, what?
Come on.
How?
What?
Whoa, how bad? How did somebody make gravy so
Yeah.
bad that they ruined you on
It's
gravy?
someone's fault.
Yeah,
It's not hers, it's someone's fault.
no, yeah, exactly. That's just an unhateable thing.
No, totally. So how's
Oh,
she feel
yeah.
about gravy now?
Yeah, yeah. You go pick a truckload of chanterelles and you brown flour and you
Yeah, there
put
you
it
go.
in stock and you
Yeah.
make a gravy out of that and you're like, well, you hate this, we're probably gonna break up, so
Yeah.
quit lying to me.
Yep. No, that's true. My husband hates oatmeal, and I'm okay with him hating oatmeal.
Yeah,
That's an acceptable thing.
that's a
Yeah,
textural
that's
thing.
fine.
It's a
Yeah.
challenge. Yeah.
Oh, totally. But aside from that, we're good. Yeah, it's funny what drives you, you know? It's
Yeah.
like and I don't understand. I used to work with guys that would, they work in the kitchen all day and then they go home and they'd eat Japanese food. Like I get you want something different, but the ones that didn't go home and cook, I'm like, I don't think we can be friends.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, and
It's
there's a difference between a line cooking and cooking.
yeah.
I think that there's a lot of like there's a ton of amazing line cooks out there
Yeah.
that aren't great cooks.
No.
That can't come into a kitchen and make you something very, very good, but they're gonna
Mhm.
and I'm a horrible line cook in their
Yeah.
defense. Like,
Oh yeah, no.
I'm not banging out
You
100 brunches right now anymore. Those days are gone. Like my
oh,
capacity, I'd be a frazzled wreck, and my station would look like a frickin' car wreck. It's like those days are way beyond me. I can't do that anymore.
I still have anxiety thinking about being on grill station and like all the steaks lined up. I'm like, oh
Isn't
no.
that's something I wish every person could experience once in their
Yeah.
life, losing yourself with a grill full and being like,
Yeah.
how many rares do I got? How many medium? Whoa.
And your mind just goes blank and you look over, you're like, oh crap, I gotta count to 8 again. And I like turn around and stand in my station, like
Just
8,
make them look pretty.
7.
Start over, hit grill marks, and let's go ahead. And yeah, then I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough I still own and I get to go into restaurants quite a bit that I operate, and watching them bang out a busy service, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, experts, like
Yeah.
so good at what you do there. But
No, totally.
yeah, I suck at that stuff now. I'm way good at making sausage. That's all I, thank God, get to do now.
I mean, there's only so many things, right? Like
Mhm.
you get yeah, I think you've hit the bar in sausage making. You don't need to beat yourself up too much about not being able to
I'm gonna
work
keep
the line
getting
anymore.
better at this. How about that? I just
Yeah,
focus
there
on
you
it.
go. Yeah, forward momentum. Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's the goal.
Well, was there anything else you want to chat about?
No, this has been great.
No?
I
Yeah?
wanna know. I'll follow up with you with what you guys get to hunt up there and what
Yeah,
drives
yeah.
you and all of that stuff at some point. I would love to know how lucky you are to hunt up there.
Well, I mean, I could tell you now we're like
Yeah,
it's still
please.
what yeah, yeah. Still waterfowl season. So we're getting out as much as we can. It's kind of late, but the birds are a little bit smarter than they were back in October. But
Wow.
yeah, we're still getting out for ducks and geese.
Is it on the ocean or is it ponds or?
Yeah, so we're super lucky where we live. We're like a 10-minute drive from like straight out looking out in the ocean. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, we're right on the foreshore. My husband's a member of a private club that has like a cabin. So we just drive right up, walk out into the foreshore, into the blinds. So we're pretty privileged in that respect.
Awesome.
Yeah, we I think that's it for our season now, though. I think we had a very busy fall with hunting in Sweden and moose hunting and
Amazing.
elk hunting and deer. But BC, yeah, we can hunt, like it runs a gamut. We've got the biggest population of wild goats in the world. Yeah.
Goat yearly?
Yeah, there's open seasons for goat.
Oh my
So
goodness.
you don't have to win a lottery. There's there's sheep, there's goats, moose, bear, only black bear, but bear, 3 types of deer, mule deer, whitetail, and blacktail, and then smaller game, all the birds, and yeah,
God, it sounds
there's a
horrible.
lot of stuff.
And there's
Yeah,
zero fishing.
yeah, I know the fishing's terrible here too, you know. It's just awful. We don't have any fish in our lakes or rivers or on the ocean, so yeah.
Well, if you ever
Yeah,
need a sausage maker to move up there as a citizen, I'll think about it.
yeah, honestly, you should come up. I mean, there's rarely a time of the year where we're not trying to catch something, you know, furry or covered in scales.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
ideal. That would be amazing. And when you guys come back down this way, if you drive through Oregon and you don't stop by, your car blows up.
Oh, yeah. You know what? My daughter actually has been. She's been bugging me to go to Portland. I don't know what it is. There's something in Portland she wants to check out. So,
Great.
I mean that like I've been wanting to come check out your shop anyway. But
Yeah, please. I love
I'll bring
showing
her
it
along.
around. The restaurant, one of my restaurants is 2 blocks to the south. So come get a tour. We'll load you up and we can get out and do something fun if you'd like and
Yeah.
go eat and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, well, I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Yeah, heck yeah. Thanks so much for having me. You're great at this. It was a blast. I hope I covered what you wanted to. And if you have any other questions, reach out. Thanks everybody.
Yeah,
for listening,
absolutely.
too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good one.